Today on Nerd and Normal, emails are part of our everyday lives. Why can they be such a pain?
Welcome to Nerd and Normal with Matthew and Gareth, opening your mind to the world of technology. So let's get started.
G'day, Matthew.
Good afternoon, Gareth, or morning, wherever it is you are right now.
I've often used the line when I'm doing media training with various people, both politicians or CEOs, that if you don't want to see it on the front page of The Australian, then don't put it in an email. Email seems to be one of those things that we have problems with. Like, for example, emails that go to spam or go to junk, and emails that I get that I block, but they still go to spam and junk. What's the point of blocking if it's still going to appear in your email?
So the biggest issue with that comes down to the fact that spammers and scammers are getting better at understanding how to get past these spam filters. There are a multitude of different programs that can do spam filtering. Unfortunately, they all use roughly the same idea, which is they look for certain traits in either the email address, the email subject, or in the actual email body itself. So what scammers do these days is they now hijack legitimate email addresses to get past the emails being obviously fraudulent with abcyzx at somestrange.com. But they also have now worked out how to trick people into believing the email's legitimate by making the email actually be a picture. The entire email is a picture, and so no spam filter in existence can see a picture. So it just lets it all come straight through to you.
The second part of that question was, if I block an email, they can still send the email, but it'll go to my spam or junk file. What's the point of blocking it if it's still going to appear in my email universe?
So all you can do is blocking that doesn't do the job. If you can control the email server you're using, which unfortunately you can't, you can actually tell the email server to bounce back immediately the emails to the people that sent it to you. I have had actually the last couple of weeks, people that have sent me the same garbage spam all the time. Increase your traffic, increase this, increase that, which I know is spam. I control my email service completely from start to finish. So I can actually tell my service, if you get an email from this address here, rather than putting it as spam, just bounce it back to the person again saying, I can spam you just as well as you can spam me. And they receive my email spam when they send me their email spam.
But me as a normal, I can't do that.
Unfortunately, no, because there is not a single service in existence that you get for free that you can do that, unless you want to start paying for emails. But even then, the provider might not provide you with that service. You can pay, say, Telstra to provide you with emails, or Gmail or Yahoo. They, again, don't provide you with that level of service.
What about when the server has an outage or the mail server is down? How do I circumnavigate my way around that?
This is the reason why having more than one email address is hugely important. So that way, if one server goes down, a secondary one comes in handy if you're sending information to people. Unfortunately, that doesn't help when you're receiving things. You can receive bills from electricity companies, the councils, or a range of different places, but they only send it to one email address. So if that server is down, that stuff is lost in cyberspace, possibly for a couple of hours, possibly for forever. So it's always best to have another email address with another provider on hand should you need it. And that way you can email individuals saying, hey, emails aren't working right now. Can you email me this way for the time being?
So we give the electricity company 2 emails to send.
If only we could. Their systems don't allow for you to have more than one. And they don't care if the system is down. In theory, their system should say, oh, this email has been bounced back to me because the email server is saying the inbox is full or the server is down or a range of different things. It doesn't. It just goes into cyberspace and disappears forever. I've seen multiple times people have actually had their bills disappear, their insurance policies disappear because their email system was down thanks to their provider not working properly, and their emails that are important have disappeared forever. They then get the late notice saying, you didn't pay your bill. I didn't get the damn bill.
Yeah, well, I've just had to write a reference for a person who ended up in court because a particular road company in Australia, will remain nameless, sent them an email, but it went to the wrong email address, and they didn't update all their new addresses and their new email addresses, and so they said, yeah, you haven't paid your fine, your license is suspended, your registration is suspended, and you're driving the car, you get pulled over, you're in there, email, blah, blah, blah. but that's been sorted. What about if the attachment is that you want to send is too large?
That is a very good question and faced often by a lot of people. Whenever I tell people about email attachments, try and keep them less than 20 megabytes because there's email providers like Optus that have renowned for not liking email attachments on your emails. So the only really way of doing that is rather than send them an attachment in an email, is to upload it to a website like Google Drive or Dropbox or, God forbid, Microsoft's OneDrive service. In there, you can actually create a link that they can be sent in an email where they can download the files from those actual online storage services for free.
And how do you access that if you are only used to using an email? You got I've got an email here. I want to send this, and I want to send. It's 25 size. Won't work. But I don't know how to do Dropbox. I don't even know what Dropbox is.
I'll have to look into this sort of online storage a bit later on another show. So it's an online service that provides the ability for you to upload files to it. And then when you upload the file to the online service, it allows you to create a link that you can paste into an email and then send it off. So things like drive.google.com, onedrive.com, dropbox.com. You can sign up for all these for free. It then has a part of the page that says upload files. Click on that, choose a file you want to send. It uploads it onto their website. You can then save or copy. It creates a little link for you to create to give to somebody else in an email. You paste that link into the email, send them that email, and then you've got access to the files for free, and it gets the large files sent around. It's how people send videos to each other these days. Because you can't do videos by emails, you can upload videos to YouTube as an individual and then have them share the links that way. But if you just want the video file itself, you can easily upload that to things like Dropbox, OneDrive, or Google Drive and share those links.
Okay, well, we better look at that in a completely separate episode. Some of the emails I send, because they're educational, I've got a number of CCs. Is there a thing called too many CCs? And the difference between CC and BCC?
Okay, two good questions there. So whenever you're sending an email to multiple people who don't know each other, who possibly don't know each other, or who don't want to have their email addresses known by other people, you should always use BCC, or blind carbon copy. Think of CC, which carbon copy, like the old carbon paper you put into books when you're trying to rewrite things in one go. It's the same with emails. CC is just carbon copy the same email to other people. Blind CC, or blind carbon copy, BCC, that allows you to send it to all the other people, but they don't know who it's going to as well. So you should always use, in my way of thinking, always use BCC if it's more to one person. The question about can you send it to too many people? Yes, you can. There are times where different companies like Telstra or Optus have actually said you can send maximum of 25 emails to people at one go. So you send out 25, another 25, another 25. But also places like Gmail, they let you send it to a whole range of people at once, but they only accept the emails from a few people at the same time. So say you've got 25 people who have Gmail accounts, 5 who have Hotmail, for example. The second you send that email in the one go with the BCC to 25 people on Gmail, Gmail says, nah, not allowed to do this. It's too many people on the one service. So it makes you get there and break them apart. So for me, always roughly 10, 12 people in a BCC at most, just to make sure that it comes through to them properly.
When I open up my Outlook Express email, there isn't a little heading called BCC. There's only CC. Where do I find BCC?
So that's where it comes down to the email program usually has BCC hidden. So normally up the top in the what they call the ribbon, there's the ability in there to actually click on, I think it's in View or Tools. I think it's in one of those two. I'll put it on the screen right now. And you click on there and it actually has the Show BC section where you can actually click on that Show BCC button and then shows the actual BCC section, field, if you will, inside of the emails every time you open them up from now on.
Now, there's a little heading up top, Reply and Reply All. On a few occasions, I've hit Reply All.
Hopefully
and
not the
I've
wrong
not
reasons.
meant to. Well, it hasn't got me into trouble yet, but what do we do? Can you undo it?
This needs some explanation. You can in certain situations. So there are 3 main ways emails are done. There is POP, IMAP, and Exchange. Exchange is run by Microsoft. The other 2, IMAP and POP, are the main ones. POP is the old, IMAP is the more modern way. If you're using this Microsoft Exchange system, Yes, you can. You can actually unsend emails. If you're running, say, the Gmail website, not through Outlook or another program, but Gmail website to send your emails, yes, you can unsend your emails that way as well in the first 15, 20 seconds. If you're on, it gets worse. If you're doing it through an Apple device, an iPhone or an iPad, you're given 5 seconds to unsend your emails. Everything else, though, once it's gone, it's gone. So make sure you use Reply All when you want everyone in the group to know about what you're doing. It only works, though, if the person's used To or CC. BCC doesn't work.
The Reply and Reply All are so close together, you can hit the wrong one very easily. And that's what I did once. I hit the wrong one very easily. And the other thing, there's a thing up the high importance, little red exclamation mark. Does that really work? I mean, if you click that, does it make any difference at all?
It does in certain programs. Not all programs actually take advantage of the high importance or even the read or... So you've got high importance, you have read receipt and receive receipt, which is where the computer will be told, when you receive this email, send me a copy saying this person's received or read the email already.
Yep.
Those systems don't work for all programs. With, say, an iPhone, for example, it doesn't care if it's got high importance. A little exclamation mark appears, but you can ignore that. And it does not do read receipts at all. There are programs like Thunderbird for doing emails, where it will show the importance, but it will ask the user, hey, do you want to send this read receipt to the person that's asked for it? And you can just say no, it doesn't go back. Programs like Outlook, though, which is one most businesses and a lot of other people use, it does actually show you the ability to have the high importance, has a different color, and it does just send out the read receipts straight away.
What about the subject line? How important is that? And should you capitalize it or use lowercase? And it doesn't matter, or it doesn't matter.
When it comes to anything on the internet, capitalization means you're yelling. The second you capitalize anything, you are yelling. So you should never capitalize everything unless you are trying to emphasize or yell to somebody. When it comes to the importance of subject, it is a bit of an important situation. If it's somebody who you know and just sending backwards and forwards quickly, subject's not all that important. If it's an organization or someone that needs to know and be able to trace what's being talked about, it can be a great way to summarize what the whole email's about quickly and easily. So normally I'd say, rather than do subject straight away, do subject last. Write the actual email itself and then summarize with one sentence the subject.
What about capitalization in the subject field? That surely is not yelling. That's just an emphasis.
No, it is yelling. It is yelling. Anything online, anything on emails, anything capitalized is always yelling. Always.
I must make sure I always capitalize then. I was...
You just like to yell, don't you?
Sorry? What'd you say? Yeah. What about a file that doesn't open correctly? It's some default program or whatever.
Actually, really good timing. Just last week, I posted on Facebook, the Facebook page, somebody had an issue exactly on these lines, where their computer had changed the default program to open files, and there are times where the computer does do this for some reason. The way around the problem is save the attachment to your computer, whether it be on your desktop, in your downloads. You've got to know where you save it to. Once you've done that, you've got to right-click on that file you've just saved. You go to Open With in the menu. You go then to With Another App. You choose which program, because you'll know what program. If you're expecting a Word document to come in or a picture to come in, it's not opening properly from your emails, you'll know what's meant to be. So you choose another app, and then you choose the program from the list of what you want to open it with. You say always, and then it opens that file correctly that you've just downloaded, but then keeps that in memory for the computer all the time as well.
Does that apply to Apple sending an email to a PC? If the Apple person has an attachment and it's in an Apple logo, and when I get it on my PC and try and open it, it says, nothing there, don't want to open it.
So this would be somebody who sent you either a Numbers, Pages, or Keynote, an actual Apple file format rather than a generic one. Unfortunately, for all the inroads that Microsoft has made into opening up Pages and Keynote and Numbers files inside the Office suite of programs, it's not 100%. So the person has to go back to their computer they've sent it from, and on their computer in Pages or whatever program they've used, go to File, choose export and then export it as an Office program, whether it be Excel, Word, or PowerPoint.
So, in other words, I have to contact the person who sent the email to me and say, send it again and do it properly.
Yes, it's an unfortunate situation. People on the Apple side of things forget there's a world away from Apple. They're in the environment and they don't want to leave it. But unfortunately, we're not all in that environment. It's one of the reasons why having one Apple device, whether it be an iPad, an iPhone, or even a cheap Apple computer, comes in handy, because then you can open those yourself without a problem having to tell the person, hey, can you send it to me again as another file? You can open it, you can read it, you can then do that proper saving it and sending it yourself.
Okay, I have a friend who every time they get an email or a message, they save them all. They keep them all, and I'm an anal retentive. When I've read the email, then I delete it and I clean up the deleted file. Who is right, who is wrong, or are both correct?
Both comes down to your individual way of doing things. For example, with and it appeared on the show last week when I showed the video from my phone, I have thousands of unread emails, text messages, and phone calls in my phone. I'm one of those that I'll know it's there, I've dealt with it, I'm not going to get there and try and clear all the stuff out. So it comes down to how you deal. As long as you know where all your stuff is and you can go back and reference what you got to reference, great. When it comes to emails these days, you should organise, if you can, your emails that are important into their own folders. That way, things like bills have come in, you can go back and reference bills from 10 years ago should you need to, and say, yes, I did pay this bill, yes, I overpaid it, I didn't get the credit for it. You've got to have that sort of reference back for that.
So saving all of you said thousands of emails, it doesn't take up space?
It does. It also, if you're using Outlook like you are, and other people are as well, including myself, it does end up filling up your Outlook database file and make the whole program work slowly and not quite as well for searching through things, which is why there's the ability to actually archive all of your older emails. It then breaks away all these, say, 12 to 18 or older month-old emails from the main database, puts in their own little one. That way you can go back and reference that database there when you need to.
Yeah, I actually use the archive section of my Outlook Express to great effect. The attachments. Sometimes I'm guilty. I'll send an important email regarding Anzac Day, and I've got an attachment, and I forget to put the attachment in, but I still send the email, and then I get an email back saying, you didn't put the attachment in. Is there a way of making that not happen?
Unfortunately, no. The benefit you've got, though, at least the more modern programs do say, hey, you mentioned attachment in your email body. Haven't attached it, though. Do you want to attach this before you send it? Programs are getting smarter at doing that.
Mine must be out of date because it forgot. And I did it. And it was recent. Okay, the obvious thing, which we have only generalised touched on, scams on both email and on your phone in the Messenger section. Is there any way to completely eradicate it other than asking Telstra, Optus or whatever? You do it.
Unfortunately, even they can't do it. Telstra does have the ability for you to report scam text messages, and they do have the ability in theory, and I've spoken to some people at Telstra themselves who have said you can actually report and give us the scam emails you're receiving. But at the end of the day, scammers are getting smarter and better. The only way to resolve the issue, the only solution that exists, is get a new email address, get a new phone number. So years ago, scammers would actually get there and randomly generate phone numbers to contact and email addresses to contact. So even if you're on not a single database in the world, you'd get scam phone calls, text messages, emails, because you just randomly generate it out of thin air. These days, they don't need to, because there's whole databases they have access to. So unfortunately, only solution these days is new phone number, new email address.
And once on my phone, I was able to create a situation where it said, don't answer unknown numbers, numbers that the people have blocked their number. But people are overcoming that problem. And it was a problem for me because then some people would send me a message on the phone or ring me on the phone, and they actually knew me and wanted to talk to me, but they wanted to keep their number private. But the scam has overcome that by now using a real number to call you, a real mobile or a real number. And you make the mistake of calling them back, oh, Mr. McRae, blah, 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 and you get scammed. Or they try to scam you. So you're not going to win.
Unfortunately, there are companies that specialise in selling these phone numbers to these scammers. I've actually had dealings with a couple of the companies, And so too is the ACCC and ACMA, which is the Australian Consumer Commission and also the Australian Communication Media Authority, have actually fined these companies millions of dollars because if they realise that they're selling these services to scammers to provide them with actual 1-300 numbers, actual phone numbers, they're doing that illegally and there is a fine for that. So the case of, yes, there are businesses that specialise in selling these phone numbers, legitimate phone numbers, to these scammers. That way they can bypass all those sort of things. One thing, though, with Apple I've noticed, with iOS 26, for all the hate that we give it, is you can set up a feature in iOS 26 where it will answer an unknown phone number for you, and it asks the person on the other end of the phone who's ringing you, what's your name, what's the phone call regarding. You will then get a text message on your phone with the person on the phone waiting to be speaking to you will get on hold music. That way.
How do I get access to that? Tell me. Describe the system.
So you've got to go into settings on your iPhones running iOS 26 or its systems. From there, go all the way down to the very bottom of the screen to apps. Inside apps, you've got to go to your phone section of your phone, which makes no sense at all to go to the phone section, but you do. Once you're in there, scroll to the pretty much to the very bottom, and you'll see just below live voicemail and just above call filtering, where you can filter unknown callers, there's the ability to screen unknown callers. This is the important bit, this screen unknown callers. You can have it set to never, so that way the phone calls just come through. You can go to silence, which you don't even get the phone calls from them, it just rings silently. Or you can ask reason for calling, which is where the phone will answer it. It will then ask the person's name and the reason why they're calling.
That's everybody that rings, right?
That is any unknown numbers.
Unknown numbers.
So anyone's on your contacts, it will get there and ask them who they are and why they're calling you.
Okay. And you've got that set on your phone?
I did. I turned it off because
Why?
I got a few people whinged at me that I had that feature turned on. Because not everyone that rings me is on my contacts. So I thought I'll test it. Yeah, they were quite annoyed by it. So
okay.
I had to turn that feature off.
I've just turned it off. I don't want to have go with that. Where has it gone? Ask reason for calling. No, never. Okay, I'm putting it back where it was. I'm not going to get into trouble with everyone who rings me.
I think those who don't know you, who aren't your contacts, they're the ones who get asked.
Have we covered all of the generic issues with emails today?
One more thing that I want to talk about is with emails, you have a password. You might not realise it because it's stored once in the computer, you never do it again. Make sure any passwords you have, even your email password, you have it written down because you will need it. Because these days you need an email password to send emails and receive them.
I've never had to put a password in when I've sent or received an email.
No, but it's programmed into your computer at all times.
And will it be the same one that's programmed in my Apple phone?
It will be, which also has.
Will they be the same?
They will be exactly the same. Not always. There are systems. Yours will be the same, but there are systems like. I'm getting there. There are systems like Gmail that allow you to have app-specific passwords. So every device, every program on that device that needs email access has its own passwords. It doesn't get easy when it comes to passwords. But
doesn't get easy when it comes to computers.
There's also one other thing that can be a problem, which is the new way that Microsoft does email security, which is not password related at all. It is what they call token related, which is the OAuth system. No passwords there at all.
Let's look at that some other time, Matthew. I'm overcome with the email. I've got email conjunctivitis. I'll have to clean my eyes.
It's amazing how such a simple thing has such a massive impact on our lives these days.
I will not send you any more emails. Have a lovely day. Talk to you next week.
Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the show and let us know what you want to see on the show too.
You said you wanted a 10. Well, make up your bloody mind.
So another thing, there's also